Welcome to the I Love Coaching podcast, the show where we help coaches, entrepreneurs, and leaders build businesses that create massive impact. I'm Adam Roach, alongside my incredible co-host,
Jess Weber, and we're here today to bring you the best strategies, mindset shifts, and real-life success stories to help you level up in your coaching journey.
Whether you're launching your coaching business, scaling to 6 or 7 figures, or just looking for inspiration to push through, this podcast is your go-to resource.
We're bringing you expert insights, real talk, and actionable items every single episode. So if you're ready to take your coaching game to the next level,
then let's dive on in. Mr. Dan DeMott, thanks for doing this, my friend. Excited to go into a fun coaching case study with you.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. So let's dive right in. So tell us, before we got together, before the I Love Coaching thought process was even in your thoughts, tell us what you were doing. Who were you coaching? What did your business look like before you jumped into the community?
Sure. Before ILC, I was a Keller Williams team leader. So for those who don't know the Keller Williams world, you're running the office, recruiting agents, coaching and consulting agents at a high level, teaching and training, and just generally operating the business of the real estate brokerage.
Yep, love that. And I know before that you were in the real estate space, though as you were growing through the team leader role, we'll call it the seat, what were you struggling with at that time?
I would say my biggest challenge, I love the role, but there was a lot of, in that role, there's a lot of amazing things, working with the agents, meeting people, recruiting, helping them with their business, sharing in their success. And then there's a lot of friction. Right? The nature of that role is that even though most people in it probably love, as I did, helping people grow their real estate business and become more successful, the nature of it is that you're an employee. And even though you're a leader, you still have a boss and you work for somebody and you're held to metrics. And those goals and metrics and directions don't always align with delivering the best outcomes for the people that you care about helping.
And so then what made you think and or feel the desire to experience maybe something different, or that you needed help?
I would say that came down to realizing I wasn't helping as many people as I could because of some of those restrictions. And also a lot of it was financial. I was coaching at a high level. I was helping people build success and make tremendous improvements in their business, which translated to a lot of financial success for them. But I was stuck, sort of giving that advice away.
Right. So the biggest obstacle you faced while in that seat was what?
I'd say the biggest obstacle was, right, how do you get over that divide? How do you help more people and take care of your own needs? That was the big challenge that I was sitting there facing. I knew I was helping people. I knew I could help more people. I also knew there wasn't a pathway for me to financially benefit from that and help my family achieve our goals as well.
And though you had success in the role, right? Let's be honest. I mean, you had success in the role, both from a recruiting standpoint, from a coaching standpoint. We would define you as successful, right?
Absolutely. I mean, I've got a stack on this bookshelf behind me. I got a stack of trophies that Keller Williams corporate gave me for hitting recruiting benchmarks and growing the profitability of my office and every other type of metric. I was successful in that role. Yes.
Though the consistent problem kept showing up as you continued to grow, and that was you were helping a lot of other people make a lot of money, and the income that you were making at the time, even though it was attached to bonuses for the growth, wasn't necessarily attached to the direct correlation of your value.
100%, right? Yeah. It was very indirectly, if at all, correlated.
Right.
And that's I think that'd be a diversion to the conversation, but there's a number of reasons that sets up that way. But I was helping people add hundreds of thousands of dollars of revenue to their business, and moving my personal needle very little.
What was that costing you?
I mean, well, looking back, costing me my health, costing me my relationship with my wife, costing me my relationship with my kids, and financially costing me hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Yeah. And I'm glad you made the transition before I did. I mean, you still have an amazing head of hair. And I lasted so long, I lost all my hair. No.
Can't stay that long.
Yeah. Okay, so let's talk about the shift now. So we heard your success, we heard some of these challenges, um, and now let's talk about the shift. So, what was the biggest shift? If you think about jumping into the community, jumping into this coaching space, what was the biggest shift or breakthrough that you had to have inside of I Love Coaching, let's say?
Well, I would say the first shift was a mindset shift, right? Which you planted. Um, I think in one time when I was really feeling the financial stress by coming to me and saying, if I could show you how to make an extra, you know, $13,000 to $15,000 a month in 10 hours a week, or in 5 hours a week, is that a conversation you'd want to have, right?
Right.
And you probably wasn't the first time you had said that to me, but it was the first time it resonated to
Right.
make me go, oh, there's a whole other world out here that, the skill set is the same, the reward and structure are different.
Yeah, for sure. So we went through a mental breakthrough first. It was believing that you could even do this.
Yeah, I mean, and just stepping out of the environment I was in and going, you can apply these skills in another environment, and the rewards will be different, right? And the opportunity there is different. And so really, first was the mindset of just saying that is, could that be an option? Of which you gave me tremendous confidence, and then stepping into the role of, okay, how do we make this a reality so I can, hit the ejector button on the previous job.
Well, and what's fascinating, we need to note this too, is that you had such success in that role that you had other people coming to you, offering you other positions that in the scope of the growth vertical, if you will, was a higher level role that you chose to say no to.
Yeah, and I think that comes back to, so for I my success in the role and the skills that I had developed opened up the pathway that everybody wants, right? So for those who are in the KW world, you know that the growth is, the growth chart, right? And the idea is, well, you build your business, you step into leadership, become a team leader, maybe you become an owner of a franchise, or you go into the regional level and you can sort of climb the corporate ladder. It's one of the most amazing things about Keller Williams. Those doors were opening for me. And I had that opportunity to take a significant increase in title and a very significant increase in compensation, more than double what I was making. But you know what? I knew that even though that was the pathway that you could sort of hope to map out for yourself, I knew that it was still going to cost me a lot of other things, right? It wasn't going to help me with my health. It wasn't going to get me more time with my wife and kids. It wasn't going to give me the rest of the life that I wanted for myself, because it's just not the nature of that job.
Right, right. Okay, so let's fast forward now. So now you plug in, right? You plug in, and we have a blueprint, right? We have a blueprint, and you plugged into what we call the Real Coach method. What stood out to you in that? What really clicked? Because you are a very smart, cerebral guy, and I got to be honest. I mean, man, I hope Dan doesn't think that this is some little child's play stuff. And you actually had amazing success with it. But what really stood out to you inside of it?
I think what the Real Blueprint gave me was the clarity to just get into action, right? So it's not overly complicated. That's to its benefit.
Mm-hmm.
It is a very streamlined and tactical way to understand who your audience is, how to speak to them, how to articulate the problem cycle solution, and then how to close people into the program. And I think that's your genius was pulling it all together, right? Your genius was being able to hand someone a package and go take this and go launch your coaching business. And what it allowed me to do was follow the game plan and quickly replace the income I needed to walk away from, right? I've got a young family. I've got bills to pay. I could not go do this on a wing and a prayer. I needed to get things moving and quickly. And the blueprint definitely allowed me to do that.
Now, you were already coaching, right? You were already helping many people. I mean, your track record of success was incredible. Though, what did you start doing differently after that? Like, what did you start doing differently after you plugged in the blueprint, after you started really engaging in that in the framework?
I think I think really getting everything, really owning the solution that I provided. I think really owning the results I was getting for people, to say that it wasn't just luck or some obscure system or model. It was directly a result. I had a number of people that I could say, I took this person from 50,000 to 100,000, or from 200,000 to $500,000 of GCI, of revenue in their business, because of my efforts, right? And being able to really articulate that and then to explain it to people um, was a big part of what the blueprint let me take ownership of, and then go sell.
Yeah, that was really, really good. What surprised you most about the process?
How easy it was.
I mean, you made it look easy. I think you held the record for quite a while of how fast you replaced and then doubled your income.
But now you've got a number of other people who followed that same path, right? And so
Right.
um, it's not unique to me. I think it always comes down to how quickly does someone take action.
Yeah.
Right. With everything, again, even as simple as the blueprint is, you could think about it for years if you wanted to, right? And all the nuances and what's the best way to optimize. And at the end of the day, what gave me success, and what I think we've seen in others who've had that success with the group, is the people who get into action quickly and sort of figure it out in action, quickly get the results they want.
That's right. It's neat to see your progression from my eyes too, because we've been doing this now together for 3+ years.
Yep.
And having spoken to other coaches in the community, what a big part you've played in their lives of helping them through this process. And that's the neat part. It's literally just a rinse and repeat process that you are now able to articulate to other coaches to simply say, let's go take some action. So that's been really cool to watch.
Yeah.
Let's dive into your results, right? So let's catch up to where we are right now. Since you've made your shift from, let's just call it a survivor job, to now ownership of your coaching empire, which you have built, what results have you seen?
Well, what's interesting is, again, and I don't mean, I want to sound, this could easily sound like woo woo, but the real change has cut, and I'm not that kind of person.
Yeah,
But
I was going to say, Dan's not a woo woo guy who forever's watching this. Yeah.
the biggest change has been sort of going through the full evolution of having something that is very satisfying to do as a job, and then understanding, okay, this thing is great, but the vehicle that it's in is not any good. And then taking that thing and moving it over to a better vehicle, which was sort of version 1 for me, right, with ILC, which is, okay, let's do one-on-one, follow the blueprint, one-on-one coaching, and then all of a sudden go, okay, wow, I'm doing that thing that I love from the job, but now in a better vehicle, and I'm making way more money and have way more control of my life. This is amazing. But then the really cool thing has been evolving from there to go, well, how do we make that even better? How do we take the thing that I love and make it better, right? And continue to evolve the vehicles, where now I'm far more driven by not just financial and lifestyle, but I'm out really doing work that I really love, right? So it's now going in this whole new direction for me, which is, wow, we're having huge impact. I love what I'm doing. I can get even better at it. And so how do we scale that and improve it, but not in a tactical way, but in a meaning and purpose way.
Right. And let's go back just for the listeners right now of simplistic results. And then let's just talk about which I know is near and dear to your heart, the time result that you were able to gain back, right? Let's talk about real quick how living in a very warm climate has always had the idea of, can we live in a cooler climate for a period of time and have the freedom and the flexibility to do that? And that's what you did. You took your family to the great north, and you were able to do that because you had established this business in the coaching space.
Yeah, absolutely. That was, I've grown up in South Florida. My wife grew up in South Florida. And South Florida is an amazing place, and everyone loves to vacation here for a reason. But living in South Florida long term, what you realize is What's beautiful about it is that the weather is always beach weather. What's terrible about it is the weather is always beach weather, right?
Right.
And you don't get any change, and you don't get any seasons, and you don't get a diversity. And so my wife and I, always growing up down here, have always wanted to be able to vacation in places with different weather and cooler weather, and be able to do that for a longer time, and ideally live somewhere where we could experience all four seasons, but also respecting that our family's here and our home base is here in South Florida. And so obviously with a job, that's not even an option.
Right.
But building my own business, and this wasn't the first business I've built for myself, but building a business like this, which is digitally based, and which I have full control over, has allowed me to do that. We spent a whole entire summer in Vancouver, Canada, which was amazing. We're planning our next summer to be out of the country, off the continent. And we increasingly spend more and more of our time, you know, building the life we want, not determined by what we do for work or income.
Yeah, that's so good. What would you say is one specific win you are most proud of now in this business space that you have? That can be a business win, it can be a life win, it can be a financial win, any win that you are most proud of.
Gosh, there's so many different categories of that. I would say honestly, the biggest win I'm proud of is the amount of time I spend with my family.
Mm.
And for someone who's in a job and going to an office and putting in the hours and working really hard, you don't know how much you're giving up. You
Mhm.
think you do, and you're completely wrong.
That's good.
And I was just having this conversation actually today with someone else who's another successful coach in our community, who just exited her job because of the success she's had. And she said, she's probably 60 or 90 days out from quitting her job. And she said, Dan, I realized how toxic that environment was. And I said, I hate to be the one to tell you this, but you don't even know, you haven't even begun to realize how much you have to unravel.
Mhm.
Because high achievement people, especially people who are high achievers within a business environment, a corporate or a job environment, it's a lifelong conditioning to sacrifice life quality for performance metrics and achievement.
Yeah.
And when you really get away from it, and it's probably been 3 years for me now that I can finally say, like, oh, I really have an understanding now of what I had compromised
Mhm.
before, and I'm glad I no longer do.
You know what I love watching you do is you're so intelligent, and you can take a process and develop it even more to have impact on people. But that's not what I'm most proud of. What I'm most proud of is the pace at which you used to go compared to the pace that you go now.
Sure.
Right? The pace you go now is more intentional. The pace you go now is more uh, deep work type stuff for impact. Where before, the pace you were going was literally because you had so many moving parts, you had so many decisions to make. It was just like it was overkill. It was decision fatigue, right? I mean, it was just
Yeah.
a lot. So that's what I loved watching in your transition and progression here is the pace at which you do things is at your own pace, which is still fast, but you get to go so much deeper now.
Yeah. Well, what you realize is great work takes time,
Yes.
right? And in the coaching space, if you want to have an impact on people's lives, and you want to be and you want to help them with their business and their challenges, you can't pour from an empty cup. And so and that's a sort of a cheeky saying, but that requires real time. It means you have to fill your cup up, and then you have to be really intentional about how you fill it and what you fill it with.
Mhm.
Because the limitation of how you can help people is set by that. And so,
Yeah.
yeah, as I've gotten more of my time back, I get a lot of joy in reinvesting it into things that I find fulfilling personally, knowing that that is going to allow me to be a better coach and advisor to my clients.
Yeah. If another coach were stuck where you were, or if another coach is stuck where you were, what would you tell them?
Well, stuck in terms of feeling trapped and
Yes.
unsure if they should take the jump, burn the boats.
Burn the boats. Yeah, you've said that quite a few times in the community. It's good.
Would Well, the number one area to go back to, we've seen many other people have success following the real blueprint. We've also seen, like any program, a lot of people who struggle to execute the same success, right?
Right.
And the difference comes down to someone's ability to get after it.
Yeah.
Right. And I think that more people would really benefit from burning the boats, right? From saying like, I'm done with this and I have to make this new thing work. I think the success rate would go up. So, of course, the real world is you have to be intentional with that and you have to be strategic and don't, risk your family living in a homeless shelter to do it. But mentally, you can decide I've moved on and I'm going in this new direction. And the faster you do that, the more success you'll have.
If someone's on the fence right now with joining the community, joining I Love Coaching, what would you say to them?
Join.
Join.
You don't know what you don't know. And you don't know what conversation is going to happen in a room full of people who are taking an alternate path that you would never hear, right? It's really one of the biggest benefits. The blueprint is great. Being in a room with people who are trying to figure out this path together and sharing and brainstorming and exploring challenges and solutions and working on that mindset is truly the best thing about I Love Coaching, right? Is that community aspect of going, hey, for an hour a week, I'm going to plug into an environment that I'm not in anywhere else and I can't get, right? People are reading different books, having different conversations. And if you're stuck in a role and unsure if you should do this, it's costing you far more than the annual fee to be a member of I Love Coaching in terms of missed opportunity to not be part of those conversations.
Yeah, that's good. Thank you. All right, last question. What's next? Where's Mr. DeMott growing to? What is next in your progression?
Yeah, I think it's sort of the continuation, right? It's just the expansion here. I'm in the process of transitioning away from one-to-one coaching and into our group and community coaching and building a community of my own based around the things that we know help real estate agents build better businesses, have more success, and get more time back. I'm increasingly passionate about fighting a lot of what I consider toxic culture in the real estate industry. A lot of hustle and grind, a lot of lease the new BMW, a lot of work harder and compromise family to get more houses sold. I don't think that's true. I don't think it's the way it needs to be. And I think that there's not enough voices in the real estate industry telling agents that there's an alternative. And so hopefully I can live up to that challenge.
Yeah, that's good. Well, this has been great. I know this is going to help a lot of people. So thank you for sharing this. And it's a blessing, and we are extremely grateful that you are in the community because you have helped and impacted so many coaches. And I just want to say thank you.